You've heard of lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, but what about bugs and bones and snakes? Marie Saavedra was very brave, taking a tour of the collections visitors don't normally see at Chicago's Field Museum.
We had an amazing tour of 3 areas at the field, but full disclosure, I'm not very good with things that are, dare I say, a little bit creepy.
What a gorgeous shade of green. But I also learned that creepy, crawly things can be very beautiful.
We are in the insect pin collection at the Field Museum.
It's a huge room.
It's a huge room. We have approximately 5 million pinned insects in here.
Wow. Jim Louderman is a collections assistant in the museum's insect division. The dearly deceased moths, beetles, butterflies, and more that he showed me tell stories, aid researchers, and help the planet.
We can collect things today in the same places they were collected 50 or 100 years ago to see what differences there are in the insect populations and species diversity.
Talk about some oldies but goodies.
These butterflies are 125 to 150 years old.
They're stunning.
Isn't that cool? In these 2 drawers, we have 2 beetles that were collected by Charles Darwin.
Really?
Yes.
And we also met some heavyweights.
These are the heaviest beetles in the world. They can weigh 3.5+ ounces. They're good to eat. They have more protein than an 8 to 10 ounce steak. They have no fat or cholesterol. And when you cook them, the insides congeal to a texture that's identical to lobster.
Well, now you're selling me.
Yeah. Insects are pretty cool.
But we may have saved the cutest for last. Meet Rosie, a pink toed and very docile tarantula with a bit of wanderlust.
Because she has gotten away and wandered around the museum for 3 months one time, I should probably put the top back on.
Let's go this way.
Okay.
And I'll lead the way.
Now it was our turn to wander, to visit some reptiles with Sarah Ruan, curator of herpetology. I'm going to admit this is the area that I was most nervous about.
Oh, that's okay. So many people are afraid of snakes. I totally get it.
Sarah's a walking encyclopedia of all things reptilian, and she showed us her favorite snake.
But it has this really crazy looking appendage on its tail. And birds, they think, oh, there's something good to eat right there. And they fly on in and they try to grab it and eat it, and the snake whips around and bites them and eats them instead.
Sounds a little sneaky to me. I had to remember that these guys are no longer with us, spending the afterlife cozied up in these jars. But check out this amber-eyed boomslang. It almost looks alive.
One thing about these specimens is once they're preserved, they can last hundreds of years and be used by scientists now and very, very far in the future. You want to get like a nice close-up?
I'll just stay back here, but thanks, Sarah.
Let me introduce myself. I'm Bill Simpson. I'm collections manager of fossil vertebrates.
Like the others we saw, this collection features holotypes, specimens that provide reference points for scientists. And there are a lot of them in this room.
Kind of like a dinosaur warehouse.
Among other things, Bill is an expert on the terrific T-Rex Sue. It turns out she has more bones than you see here, and Bill showed us some of the extras housed in these drawers.
All these bones, that's Sue. Those are little pieces of Sue, yeah. The pieces in here are float from Sue.
And float is just bone fragment.
Eroded bone that leads to the discovery often.
We also saw reproductions of Sue's bones that are used for research.
We spent $85,000 on silicone rubber to mold every bone in Sue's body, and then we made epoxy casts. So this is a cast of Sue's skull. The actual skull is hard to study 13 feet up in the air.
And if you think Bill has the best job in the world, he'll agree. In fact, all of our guides say they couldn't love their work more. So the next time you're wandering the Field Museum, remember, visitors see less than 1% of everything that's here. And like we said when we started, that's pretty amazing.
Chicago's Field Museum is renowned the world over. Its collections are also lending libraries that send materials to scientists all across the globe. Pretty impressive. I'm Marie Saavedra, CBS News, Chicago.
What a great story. It's like going on a field trip at the field. So the folks there at the field remind us, if you're an Illinois resident and got you thinking maybe you'd like to go, you can visit the museum free on Wednesdays. You just need to provide proof of residency. Tell us your Eye on Chicago stories. To send us your ideas, you can search online for CBS Chicago, Eye on Chicago. We would love to hear from you.
That was fascinating. One of my big takeaways is that Rosie's pink toes could end up crawling right up next to you if you head to the Field Museum.
And we could have beetle soup, and it would be very...
Lobster?
Could you have done that story, Erica?
Everything except for the live
The live-
tarantula.
okay.
That would be, that's where I draw the line.
As long as they have a pin in them and they're not moving, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then I'm
that's a
all right.
fascinating story, though. I
Yeah.
loved it.